I should know. I have the giant flag behind me. Oh, I tried to move my laptop like a fool. My phone was my camera. So embarrassing. Well, on that note,
Oh, I've done.
let's get started.
All
What
right,
can you
Karen.
do? That's life. But anyways, I've got three interesting things for you today. The first one is the Vatican partnered with Microsoft and go away pop-up ad. I got my notes, reminders, to create an AI generated duplicate of St. Peter's Basilica. So basically that, big fancy church,
Mm-hmm.
fancy, really cool, cool, cool. Considered one of like the holiest spots where St. Peter's body is buried, in the Catholic tradition, and people go to see it. Oh my gosh, crazy, amazing place. They took, I don't want to mess this up, but I'm pretty sure I remember correctly. 4 weeks, no one in there, took about 400,000 photos by using these drones, these super high-tech drones and lasers and stuff, amazingly, amazingly specific pictures of this place, and then used AI to put them all together into a gigantic, you know, 3D duplicate, right? So you can see all of the things.
Like a digital model.
Yeah, like a digital model of
Hmm.
the entire place. So super, super precise 3D replica, right? And that there was enough data to fill a bunch of DVDs. Someone was like 4 kilometer stack of DVDs worth of data, or like
Wow.
5 million. Anyway, it's a lot of information. But what's cool is, like I said, number one, people can see it without being there. Really amazing. And number two, it was able to detect like cracks and things that are invisible to just human eye, right? So if you're looking
Hmm.
around to see where there might be weakening places in the structure of the church, this AI was able to find those and like point them out. So
Wow.
it was this, I don't think that was as much of an expected plus from this, but like it was like, oh, there's a missing piece of a mosaic here, or there's, you know, a little bit of damage. And anyway, so super
Hmm.
interesting and a cool way that Microsoft partnered with them to do something that's kind of been
I
done,
mean,
but
that's
maybe not on the
yeah,
scale.
that's super cool. I feel like they'll
Yeah.
use their revelation in other areas where they can look at structures that are old and maybe identify weak points without even needing, experts in there. They can just have drones fly around and AI look at the pictures and see if the structure is weakening, if they need to
Yeah,
remodel anything or whatever. And
totally.
the other thing is, imagine like digital world, like we're talking, if it was like Meta, for instance, in their little metaverse, to be able to then put that um, building inside of their metaverse and be able to like walk around it, like actually like with the goggles and everything,
Yeah,
be
yeah,
able to
yeah.
walk around,
VR.
see everything, and it looks all
Totally.
realistic, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's emphasizing living a digital life instead of being in the real place, which is obviously cooler in the end, but um, or being, living in reality is probably cooler.
Yeah,
But
yeah, 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 totally.
but that is pretty
It's
cool.
still
Yeah.
pretty amazing for what you can do. And it was cool too, like seeing people talking about like, oh, it's the collision of what is ancient and what is modern, or oh,
Hmm.
it's, technology and faith. And some people think that those are against each other, but actually we can use this to spread,
Hmm.
to make it more people are able to experience this. And anyway, all that stuff, which was super, super interesting. So
I'm picturing
that
it.
was
I'm picturing
cool.
like a game where you can like find the secret door and go to the basement, and then there's like a coffin, and it's like press E to open, and you're like
Bro. Anyway,
Saint Peter.
me too. All right. Well, anyways,
I'm not
this is
Catholic.
probably very offensive. Um,
Hmm.
but
I
okay,
wouldn't press it.
cool.
All
On to
right,
number two.
go for it.
There is these guys, these two guys. Oh man, the two guys, man,
The
they're at it
two
again.
guys.
They
What
are
they
at
do?
it again. They're starting to create something called Encore, which is an AI powered search engine for thrifting specifically. So apparently these guys were both, they've
Well, I'm
worked
writing
on
this one
different
down.
startups and businesses before. They met up for the first time in person at a thrift store to do some thrift store shopping. Like they're just into, finding what they can find, but it's kind of a tricky process. And then there's tons of websites out there, ThreadUp, Craigslist, eBay, wherever you're going to
Hmm.
find your stuff, right? So way too many places to look. So what they're trying to create is basically, you know, it's ChatGPT-ish. It's a large language model kind of idea,
Hmm.
but for all these places that have thrift clothing, so that it would be to the point of like everything would be in one place, but also you could type in something weirdly specific, like um, get me the sweater that Rory Gilmore wore in season 3, episode 7 or something, right? And then it'd be like, oh, okay, here you go. Like, here's stuff that looks like that. So really interesting. And kind of cool. So it's called Encore, and I don't know how far along they are in it, but that is their goal. Yeah, some
Olivia's
people.
gonna like that one a lot.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Um, Yeah, some people would make it very simple, easy, but some people, if you want to get really specific, be like, this is my height and my size and my
Mm.
taste, and give me something, which is kind of cool.
Hmm. That is
Yeah.
cool. That sounds handy because Olivia was just looking at it was a like probably Japanese Space Corps type outfit, and she really liked it, but it was from this like, super sketch site with bad reviews and,
Oh,
$100 with shipping, and you didn't know if it would actually arrive and everything. So it's one of those things where it's just like you shouldn't get that even as much as you want it. Um, but then she looked at a bunch of other sites and places to try to find something very similar because she was now into that vibe and couldn't find almost anything. So she finally found the shirt and ordered it. But to have an AI that's literally made for that, where you could like input an image or describe it and, you know, share your size, I guess, if needed, and then just have it search a lot of places, that'd be very handy in those kinds of situations. So
yep. Yeah. And it looks like they even want to experiment with you being able to upload a picture. So Olivia could have literally taken whatever
nice.
image the
Nice, yeah.
sketchy seller was using and said, hey, give me something like this, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
So number 3, Randy Travis, country singer.
Who's
He
that?
had He's a country singer. You wouldn't know him. Very
Mm.
famous. Um, Also very famous when you were young, so you also wouldn't know him for that reason. But he had some health issues, and then he had a stroke in 2013 that really messed with his voice. And so he's got this deep voice that he'd use in his songs, and it kind of took that ability away, which is super sad. Like crazy though, like he was given a 2% chance of survival and he lived. So like wild, wild stuff. But anyway, people have made different like little AI tools and stuff of like, hey, put in some lyrics and we'll pop it out in Randy Travis's voice. And like, especially to their family and people that know him, like they're like, it's bad. Like that doesn't even sound like him. Like, yeah. But it did give them kind of this idea. So what they did was they took like old tracks of his, like original recordings, and they took out everything except for the vocals. And then they put that into basically their own AI model. So it had something really good and like actual legit to work with. And then there was a newer country music singer, I don't remember his name. But they had him sing a new song that they had just written. Um, and so he sang the new song. They put his voice into the AI, and then the AI covered over his voice with Randy Travis's voice. So Randy Travis was able to release a new single that performed really, really well. But there's this little bit of, okay, but he used AI, and is this legit? Or do we love it? Do we hate it? Because a lot of musicians obviously are trying to make sure that doesn't happen.
Of
But
course
if
they
it
are.
can bring back a voice that people have missed for a decade or more, then that's kind of cool.
Do
So,
you want to handicap people or do you want to enable them? Come on.
okay,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm looking
this
at it.
well, yeah, this guy's disabled and they want him to not create music, or can he create music by the means with which he has?
I mean, it's even
I
his
don't
voice,
exactly.
sort of.
Yeah,
So, like,
he if anyone owns that voice, it would be him, so he would have the right to do it. It's not someone stealing it in that
sure, sure.
case.
Yeah.
So, yes, you
Hmm.
don't have to you could put a label on it of like 80% genuine where you could see it as not being real or yeah, genuine, but I don't know. If you like the sound of it, that's probably the most of what matters.
Yeah,
So,
everyone. But yeah,
right.
I think a
Well,
lot
I
of
know.
people would say that, and a lot of people would also say, nope, it should not be created by a computer.
Yeah, but
Especially when it comes to art stuff like that, The
like
the
techno,
okay,
but
sure,
like any digital music.
sure, sure. Yeah,
You could argue that even if you're creating your drum sound on the computer, it's the same.
fair enough.
So if people are like not hippie, but old school musician, everything has to be a real instrument, a real sound, and not digital, then okay, those people would probably be against this too. But if you are making music at all digitally or changing the sound of it digitally or anything, this is in the same realm.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
And not
yeah.
as unethical because again, he owns his own voice. So
Sure, 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 sure. Yeah. Well, that was the last of my three, but
nice.
kind of interesting updates. I didn't double check dates on those. I think a couple of them were a little older, but still interesting enough to bring up. Yeah.
Cool. And meanwhile,
Mm.
there's me with like nothing, just statistics of latest. Yeah. Not a lot of crazy stuff in the AI realm, but we had an
Well, not that
election
you
and stuff.
found
So,
any evidence.
well, yeah,
True.
you
It's
know.
been a busy week. Busy week. Yep. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a lot more coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll try to do something more exciting this week if possible. It'll be good.
Sounds good. It's
Cool.
about time I tried to do some of the work.
Well, you did last week too.
Well, that's good. Yeah, no,
The week
I
before
know.
that was the one that I was
Never.
like, Jordan joined the podcast as well. But last
Yeah.
week, last week you pretty much carried it. So
All right. All right. I'll take that. Cool. Cool.
cool.
Yeah, stop
Well,
slacking, Nathan.
well,
Okay, anyways.
because you did all the
Cool.
work, do you want to thank the listeners?
Absolutely. Always. Thank you, listeners.
Awkward silence. Check. Okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Those are your AI updates for this Monday. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
The AI Monday podcast, but every time Nathan or Jordan says Nathan slouches a little bit more.
We lost him. We lost him.